friends. So I am a nurse and I recently started making these ear savers for me and my coworkers. So they basically work because we're wearing the masks all day long, that you can hook the mask on these behind your head instead of your ears, and then your ears don't become raw when you're wearing them multiple days in a row. And a lot of people have started requesting them and making them for the frontline workers who are wearing masks all the day. They're very helpful, and my pattern has become very popular after I published it, but a lot of people have asked for a video tutorial instead of just the written pattern. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today, is the tutorial of how to make these mask savers. So what you're going to need is a little bit of yarn. I've been using acrylic yarn. I've been using Red Heart Super Saver, but before you start making them to donate someplace, make sure they're accepting them. Some hospitals are not accepting them because they can't be cleaned properly, and other hospitals are only accepting cotton for that reason. For my hospital, the acrylic works because they're just as washable as the scrubs that we bring home. If your buttons are on tight, but just make sure before you start making them. So you need the yarn, an H-hook, 2 buttons, needle to sew, scissors, and then tape measure would be helpful. So we're going to start at the beginning before we make our slip knot, and we're going to leave about a 10-inch tail. Here's my 10 inches, and then we're going to make our slip knot. And then this tail you're going to use at the end to sew on your buttons, so don't crochet it in or weave it in or anything like that. You'll do that at the end. So now I have my slip knot. I am going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now I have my chain, and then I am going to yarn over and make a half double crochet in the second chain from hook. So I have my loop on my hook, 1 chain, 2 chains, so I'm going to go in the second one right here and make a half double crochet. And then I am going to put a second half double crochet in that same chain. You have 2 half double crochet in your second chain from your hook. And then I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in each chain across. I'm getting close to the end here. So then here's my last chain. Put a half double crochet in it. And so now we have our row of half double crochet. We have 2 in the first one, the one we used for turning, 2 in the first one, and then 1 in each of those chains across. Now, normally you would like chain 1, turn it over and go back the other way. We're going to go in a round instead. So what we're going to do is make another half double crochet in the end here and keep adding them until we have 5. So the one we originally had, and then 4 more. So because, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm putting all of those half double crochets in the end, see how it starts to curve around this way? And that's going to be our turning, and then we're going to go back on the other side of the chain. So I'm going to pull this end tight a little bit to close up that hole that I put all 5 in. And then I am going to drop this tail and use my working yarn and make 1 half double crochet in the back of the next chain. So your end is going to have 5, and then the one next to it is going to have 1 on either side. And then I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in the loop that I left on the back of the chain in each stitch across. And now here's our first chain that we put the 2 half double crochet in on the other side. So I'm going to put 1 in there, and then I'm gonna add 2 more into the same one. We were doing 1 in each of the loops. Now we're gonna put 3 in this last one. And then this creates the other turn on that side. So there's 1 half double crochet in each side of the chain all the way across, except the end chains have 5 half double crochet in them, and that's what allows it to turn, so we can do this as a round instead of a row. So now that we have the other 3 for this side, we have the 2 at the beginning making 5, we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet and pull it tight. Next, we're going to go on to round 2. Round 1 will have 30 total half double crochet. So round 2, we're going to chain 1, and instead of doing half double crochet this round, we're going to do single crochet. So we're going to put 2 single crochet in the first one, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 12. So 2 in the first one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now where we end up on the 12th one is our 5 in the end that we had at the first row. We went into the first one of those 5. So then on the 3 corner ones, what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 single crochet in each stitch. So this will increase so the corner doesn't curl up. So 2 in that first one, 2 in the middle one, and 2 single crochet in the last of the 3. So you have 6 that you added on the end, going into 3. So 3 increases, and then this last 5th one of the 5, you're just going to put 1 single crochet again. And so that's how you're going to make it so the end doesn't curl in. So you just want to make sure you always have those 3 increases on the end. So now going back up the other side, we're going to have 12 on this side. We already did our first one. That counts as the 5th one, or first one in the 5th of the 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, and just put 1 single crochet in top of each half double. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the same thing happens on this side when we get to 12. We end up in that first of the 5 that you had on this side. Remember that your little connection here where you finish the round doesn't count, so it's just the 5 half double crochet that count. So now we're gonna, at the beginning, we already put that 1 increase in that first one of the 3. Now we have 2 left. So you're gonna have 3 increases on this side. So the first one you're gonna put 2 in, second one you put 2, and then you're back where you started, and then your third one would be the one you did at the beginning. So 3 increases on this side. And then you're gonna do a slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet, pull it tight, and then cut it about 10-inch tail on this side as well. You can make the tail shorter later if you need to, but just to start, yarn over and pull it through to fasten off, pull it tight, and there you have it. So this ear saver that I made is about 5 inches. Actually, this one's a little bit short. So I've been making them about 5 inches because between me and my coworkers, that's the size that we found works the best. We had some that were closer to 3 inches, and when we had those on the back of our head, the mask pulled on our nose. For people with larger heads, closer to 6 inches will probably work better. I have a smaller head and I wouldn't want any bigger than 5 inches. So try and shoot for 5 inches. That's what we found works best. But you could make some that are bigger, and I've been making some that are a little bit longer, especially in more masculine colors. So to make it longer or shorter, what you're going to do is you're just going to change the amount of chains that you did at the beginning. So you did 13 chains at the beginning. If you want it longer, do 14 or 15. And it's the same thing. You would just put the 5 in each end of the chain doesn't matter how many chains there are. But then on the second round, you want to make sure that your 3 increases are on the end 3 of those 5. So it's not going to be 12 in between if you change the amount of chains. But you want to make sure, no matter what you have it at, that those 3 increases are on the end. And that's how you can change the size pretty easily. You could also do half double crochet in the second row too, to make it a little bit wider. So now we're going to sew the buttons on. So that's what we left these tails for. I've been using an embroidery thread needle. It's right by the embroidery thread at Walmart, because I found that works better to go into the buttonholes, especially on the smaller buttons. So what you're going to do to sew the buttons on is put it through your tail. It doesn't matter what one you start with. And then kind of weave it in. And remember our 5 stitches that we had? We want to go in the middle one, so not 5 and 1 and 3, go in numbers 2 and 4. So weave it through and come up into that stitch. Pull it through, don't pull it too tight. And then you're going to take your button, go up through one hole, pull it down onto your thing, so then it's coming up in that 2nd or 4th stitch. You're going to go through the other hole and go into the opposite stitch. So 2nd or 4th on the other side. So stitches 1, 3, and 5, you're not going through. So go through to the back, and then you're going to come up the side on the first hole that you went into, go through the first hole you went into again, make sure it's tight, and go back down into the second one. And going through twice, just make sure that it's tight and won't come off. So now it's on pretty tight. It's not coming off at all because I had it pulled tight. Now we're going to make a knot on the back. So what you're going to do is you're going to loop it through a small part, and don't pull it tight, leave a little loop here. And then you're going to go in right to left, pull it through, and then go in again, right to left. Or you could do left to right, just make sure you're going the same way. So now it has a little bit of a knot there, and then you're just going to pull that tight until it goes tight against your yarn or your crocheting. And then now they're not as tight, your button is secure, but you want to weave this end in, don't just cut it off or it might come loose. So you can go through the middle of the half double crochet row that you did, just going through the middle of the stitches for about 2 inches, and then I'll pull it through and then I'll trim it. And the other button we're going to sew on the same way, except this one, the yarn is coming out in a different spot because this is the one we dropped, the tail we dropped at the beginning, but it's the same thing. You just don't have to weave it through as far, just make sure you're coming up in that second one, 2nd or 4th one, same thing. Oops. Go through your button, go through the other way, go through again, make sure it's tight, and then make your little loop, go through twice, pull it tight, and then weave it through the middle of the stitches. Don't go up and down through the stitches, make sure you go through the middle of the stitches so it stays better. Pull it through and trim it off, and that's it, you're done.